Welcome to Permission to Be, where the messy middle finally gets a microphone.
Because let's be honest, life is not a highlight reel.
Here, we laugh at the absurd stuff, cry at the real stuff,
and talk about what it actually takes to find your way back to yourself.
Can we talk about you wearing a vest? I didn't realize that there was a cold snap in California.
Well, I mean, not compared to the rest of the country.
Are you like supportive?
The claws are. You need to tell Seth that I have fallen victim to this rage. Normally, I'm exempt.
I didn't realize that the claws were out. I just thought it was funny. Dang it.
Well, hello. Welcome to Permission to Be.
Hi,
I'm
everyone.
Shannon.
I'm Jane.
We're glad you're here today.
Yes, we are.
This is going to be kind of like a hodgepodge episode, right?
Hot pocket.
Hodge.
Hot pocket. Tomato.
You got to explain that logic.
I got nothing. I got my period today, so I'm rejoicing. I'm not pregnant.
We're on week 5 of Spicy Jane.
Maybe this is just the new norm. 41 years old.
Oh my God. It was, we talked about that game of, is it perimenopause? Is it hormones? Is it luteal? Or is it just my new personality?
It's just me.
We might be figuring out Jane's new personality.
Actually, I am totally going to toot my own horn. I'm 41. I turned 42 this year, and I just started tracking my luteal and periods.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it in the calendar, and Seth, my husband, he was all for it. And so I got a notification last week that I was entering luteal, and it is a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moment I get a little irritated, I'm like, wait. Nope. This is the
I don't actually hate my husband for breathing.
Totally.
It's luteal.
Right. And then I came downstairs. He was ripping apart all of the roast beef to shred it. And juices are going everywhere. And I am viscerally upset with the mess. And he looks at me like, what? And I go, just say you're sorry. Just say you're sorry. And he's like, no. I was like, you got it on the counters? You got it on the cabinets? And he goes, oh. And he got a little heated, right? He went from resistance straight to revenge. And we caught it very, very quickly. I think it was only about a skint.
Yeah.
Little tiss, then it could have been 10 minutes.
Yeah. It really, it's helped us too, because although Jared does not call it, he calls it it's like, are you, what? Oh God, what? It's not luteal. He doesn't say luteal. It's like are you
fire
oracle?
dragon?
Or no, he says some weird word in it, file to figure out. It's like, I guess in some context, you might be able to say it has to do with luteal. And I'm like, luteal? And of course I'm irritated because I am luteal, right? So it's like,
naturally.
can you not just remember the word?
Oh my gosh. Even this morning, my daughter was eating with her mouth open because that's awesome. And she's sitting right in between my husband and I drinking coffee, playing with the dog and the toy. And I'm overstimulated. And he looks at me and he goes, any minute now, you're going to get your period. Today on the calendar is the day. I usually have a big explosion. It's almost like the lining of my uterus releases and therefore I explode.
Or no, the explosion triggers.
Quite literally. Totally. And so I took a deep breath and I told my hippocampus in my brain, I was like, you got this, you're okay. I was like, mom's going to go potty, and boom, I had blood. I was like, I did not explode. I am so proud of myself.
It'd be really funny to watch the metrics of male viewers that just dropped off. Even my husband's probably like, and bye.
Totally. My husband did though say, he goes, why do you think I booked, we used to live in New York City for several years. And he goes, why do you think I booked trips very strategically every month?
So he's been tracking your cycle way longer than you have.
Yeah. He didn't let me in on that little secret. It's okay.
Good on him.
At least now I can say I'm very prepared every month.
I will say, where is it? And I told Jane about this. It's sepia.
Yeah.
So you have to take it consistently. It is not like I'm about to rage on my partner and then I take a sepia. Turns out that doesn't work.
Those are homeopathics.
They're homeopathic
pellets.
It's not the photo filter sepia. It is homeopathic. But I think this thing is $7 on Amazon.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored. It's $7 on Amazon. But it has been the biggest game changer. I'm on my cycle right now too.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful that your best friend can be on this cycle with you and we don't live next
we don't
to
live
each other.
near each other. That's how powerful we are.
Oh yeah, and we also talk all the time.
Our bodies are like, you don't live next to one another?
Really?
Seriously?
Huh?
How do you talk so much? But this sepia, legit. A friend of mine, Brooke, turned me on to it. and it really has. I will not say that it made any cramps or anything less, but I did rage on the people I love a lot less this time.
I find it interesting that you're giving Brooke credit, and yet I bought all of those in year quantities for the last several years, and I have like the tackle box.
You
and I
never
have a
told me
label.
about sepia.
Let the record show. I have been telling her about sepia. I have it in my little travel
Do you take
kit.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then
I have
why are you still raging?
Don't point out the obvious.
You told me before. I've never heard of this, because when Brooke told me sepia, I was like the photo filter? I was like, that's a thing?
You do multitask me sometimes. All the time. Most of the time.
That
99%.
Yeah. Nope,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deny that. Anyways, to my knowledge, she did not tell me about it. But I will say that it is helping. So much so that my husband, when I was raging the other day, he was like, "Did you take your sepia?" And I was
Bless
like,
him.
I know you're trying to be helpful, and I also might punch you for that. So
Maybe
it's
we need
fine.
to create little like gift packages that husbands can buy their wives. Have that be included.
I think it's just leaving me alone.
Can we talk about you wearing a vest? I didn't realize that there was a cold snap in California.
Well, I mean, not compared to the rest of the country.
Are you like supportive?
The claws are. You need to tell Seth that I have fallen victim to this rage. Normally, I'm exempt.
I didn't realize that the claws were out. I just thought it was funny. Dang it.
It was the tone. No, it's really cold. I mean, really cold. Not compared to a lot of the United States. But I live in California for a reason. I would not survive in the Midwest. So
Gosh,
no. So like there's not like a toughness competition. I have a 4-degree swing of temperature that I am comfortable. Outside of, like, above that I'm hot, below that I'm cold. So it is below 70 to 74 degrees. So I'm cold.
So the vest gets on. My son, anywhere we
It's
travel
not even
now.
mine. I think it's my dad's.
I mean, it looks great on you.
Yeah, it's huge. If I stood
That-
up, you'd be like, that doesn't fit, but it's warm.
Those are like boyfriend outfits. They're supposed to look big. No,
And when
my
you're on
husband.
your period, you're like, nothing needs to touch me. As big as you can make me look like a blimp.
I may or may not have sweatpants on right now.
So do I. If you're watching the video, that was a good look on my face. Pause that.
No, wait. My son, actually, now we travel often, and he always says right before we go, he's like, so what's the temperature going to be? And for him, the sweet spot is 72. And so,
Yeah.
and so he's like, wait, it's going to be in the 80s? I don't want to go.
I mean, 80 is sweet too.
But buddy, like, you're 6. You actually
He's also
don't
the
know.
one who has set a demand that if something is over 2 hours, you have to have a recreational vehicle to go.
Yep. And we are in the process of researching that for the summer trips.
Keep going, dude.
Yeah, that kid's got us wrapped around his finger, and I am here for it.
What's coming up for you?
I have been more disciplined this month than I've been disciplined in my life. And I don't know if that's because it's, we're starting a new year or it's the seasons are changing, but I don't know. What's coming up for me is instead of putting taking my foot off the gas, I'm more like, let's rev this baby up.
Lord help us all.
I'm a manifesting generator. Shannon talked about this in the last episode. She's a manifester. So she at times will be like, just stop, put it down.
If you can picture a freight train.
Yeah, I got that.
And then the thing being dragged behind it. That's me.
And I'm
so
the freight train.
I have a really big idea. That's what manifestors do. We have a really big idea.
Yeah.
And then Jane's the one is like, cool, let's go. And I'm like, I didn't mean all at once.
I mean,
I
I'm
need
going
a
to think
nap.
about it.
I need a nap and a snack. And Jane's like, and we're full steam.
Right. And get into action, Shannon. Why aren't you in action, Shannon? Shannon, what are you doing? What are you doing?
We have learned this, though. We've learned how to work together. Thank God.
Crickets.
It got ugly for a while. I thought that was your son's hand on your shoulder.
That's just me. I got an itch. I remember I flew to Sacramento. We got a hotel to do some filming, and we were in the hotel. And she goes, okay, what time are we having dinner? I found an Italian restaurant. Shannon loves pasta. And I go, I don't know, like 5, 6, like you pick. She goes, okay, 6. And so it's almost 6, and I am still working. And I just get into a rhythm, right? And it's just more, I'm like, I would be a sensational factory worker.
She would.
Method, just follow the process. And she finally just shut my laptop down and was like, stop. I would have kept going. Yep.
It's the same thing. I have manifesting generators all around me. It's the same with my husband. He gets to deal with a lot. And he probably would be a great guest to tell you about that. I don't really know that I want to talk about it. But Like, for instance, I went through neuroscience camp, and I did realize that I'm the busy person and I'm also like the starter, not the finisher. And that totally fits with being a manifestor, because I have these great ideas, and then I get about a third to half of the way through,
or 2/3. Yeah.
or 2/3. I oftentimes do make it to 2/3, and then I'm like, why the F did I do? Like,
I'll call
I'm
Shannon.
done with this.
I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm working on a puzzle.
Okay, that was one season.
That many times.
One season. It was one puzzle.
I was like, what happened?
I will never live down the fact that I told you that I was doing a puzzle.
Never.
It's
never.
like my identity to you now is I'm a puzzle doer. I'm like,
I mean, we had things that we were going to accomplish, and then she got 2/3 of the way done, and then she's like, I'm gonna work on a puzzle right now. I'm gonna reset. And I was like, you know what? I acknowledge and I respect you for it while I'm laughing.
The biggest place that it shows up in my house is like yard work. I'm like, let's rip out the whole yard and do clover
before our guests arrive.
I'm not that bad, but I'm like, I got this plan. We're going to revamp the entire backyard.
Totally.
And then I get like 2 hours into it, and I'm like,
over it.
I'm kind of over this.
Can we, since we're on the freight train of like, I'm spicy, can we talk about you and the cabinets and the painting of the cabinets?
Oh, God, my husband will love this.
So Shannon decided that she didn't want to have someone paint her cabinets in her kitchen. She wanted to do it herself. And then she wanted to spray paint the cabinets.
Like with the paint sprayer, not
Correct.
like spray paint.
How long did you have no cabinets in your kitchen for while they sat in the garage?
See, this is just
I
below
love
the belt.
this episode so much.
Karma. Okay.
I'm fine with this.
No, I got no shame with this. Okay, so here's the thing about me. I am the build the car as I'm driving it sort of person, right? So my husband is the exact opposite. He's the analyst, right? Like he's the dude that like time blocks his day. I'm the person that if I time block, my soul is escaping my body as I'm like, ugh. Even like, ugh, it makes me sweat. But so he's the one that's like, you plan the work, then you work the plan. And I'm the one that's like, what plan? I don't want a plan. I just want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. We are polar opposites. So in his mind, you know exactly what you're doing before you do it. You have the workstation put out. But the thing about me, like I said, I get 2 hours into something and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. If those 2 hours are spent making a workstation, I will never start the work because I am now tired after making the workstation.
So you built the workstation for the cabinets?
No, I did not. No.
I'm trying to track this.
No, I have to get far enough into a project that I can't turn back.
Okay. I'm following.
So my idea for this, thoughts and prayers welcome for my husband. My logic here was that if I, while he's at work, take all the cabinet doors off with my neighbor. I had somebody in cahoots with my neighbor, and then take like varnish stripper and strip all the varnish off the boxes. There was no way I could turn back.
That didn't happen.
No, I did that. I did that.
No, but like
I fully did that.
You did turn back.
I couldn't turn back.
No, meaning like you didn't then go to the next step.
I never said it went quickly. I just said I couldn't turn back. There
just
was no
tell them the answer. How long?
I'm getting there. No, I think I didn't have cabinet doors for, it was over a year.
Yeah. I'm really glad that was how I was about to
No,
go.
it's over a year. But also so we lived in Portland at the time, and it was winter. So this was my big mistake, was doing it going into winter, because in Portland, I was doing all the paint spraying in my garage, and you have to let everything between coats dry fully in between, right? Before you could even flip them. And they made it look really easy on Instagram. They made it look very easy, and they made it look like it went really quickly. It did not. They're all liars. Don't do it. When somebody on Instagram tells you that you can redo your kitchen cabinets in 2 weeks, they lie.
Would you have gone back and actually paid someone to do it?
Probably not, because I just am that person. Like, I'm the person that's downstairs being like, I could do it again. I could do it. Like, Jared's like, no.
I would be like, Jared,
He would kill me.
like, what are we going to do to stop
That's a good
this?
prank sometime, is just take some of the cabinet doors off and just see what he does. Like, he would probably lose it. No, but what happened was that it would take like 2 weeks for the cabinets to dry. So like I would paint them, and you're talking like bottom coat, primer, and then 3 top coats per side. So just that, it was like you'd go out there and you'd be like, "Ugh, it's still sticky. It's still sticky."
I just love that all of that. So that's multiple steps, 3 steps front, 3 steps back, 6 steps, plus the varnish removal, plus the removal, all that. And you're still like, no, I'd still do it myself.
This is me. Like, I'm the person that still, after that, and I tiled. Now, I will say I tiled the backsplash. That was with my mom. And when my mom and I get together,
you two guys
my
are
husband is like, you guys
go
are
away.
nuts.
Yeah.
We won't eat. We won't sleep. Like, Jared's the one being like, I'm out. Like, you two are crazy. We are. She can outwork anybody, and then I get that work ethic from her. I just am not very motivated when I'm by myself. I'm a team.
So what I'm
player.
hearing is that we need to bring your mom over when we decide to do certain things. And she needs to pretty much be like I was thinking of like the person on the railroad, like the foreman. Just like, Shan, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going?
I don't like your
That's what
tone
I'm
here.
tracking here.
I don't like your tone here.
I'm going to call your mom after this.
She lives right across the street.
Yeah, but I'm going to call her and we're going to strategize.
She's not there now. She's back in a snowstorm. She's the one who needs the best.
What's going on in your life, Shannon?
Well, I'm feeling pretty attacked today.
Yeah, but you love this.
No, it's fun. No, I can take it. No, what I was going to say is I am the person who's currently looking at how to epoxy countertops because, I haven't had enough.
Please don't do that.
See, but I think deep down, I want to be one of those DIY Instagram accounts, even though I'm not.
No, that's not true. You did a DIY birthday cake of a Harry Potter hat. And I think that the reason why you started and finished was because it was your son's birthday and the birthday party was the next day.
Well, you're talking a cake versus an entire kitchen. Like,
that
I
cake
tiled
took you like 10 hours. It was solid.
It was involved.
It was
amazing. I also
amazing.
will say that kitchen looked good. Like, I did a good job. People walked in and they were like, wait, you did this?
So now we're going to have to put pictures of your backsplash in this episode.
Yeah, I actually really like tiling. It's backbreaking work, but it was fun. I got to use a wet saw. I got to do all of it.
Okay, I feel like this was a lot of love. And yet Shannon went from resistance to resentment to revenge.
No. I have taken it like a champ. I took it on the chin.
No, it's been a really fun month with Shannon because this is, for those of you, if you do follow the Chinese New Year, we're still in the year of the snake, the shedding, the constant things that are being triggered and probing you and etc.
Probing you, huh?
Yeah. And we're almost out of it. And so Shannon and I have been each other's resources for those triggers to not let them trigger us.
Which there's been a lot of them.
Yeah, there have been. But I'm excited. February is right around the corner.
I feel like, how there's like the countdown to Christmas? I feel like I need a countdown to saying goodbye to this dang snake. Get out of here.
Yeah. Like New Year's Eve, the countdown. 10, 9.
Right? February 17th, people. February 17th is when it switches.
We're getting close.
From the snake to the horse.
I'm excited.
I am too. It's very exciting. Okay, you asked me what's coming up for me. I went through that neuroscience camp that you went through. So I've done level one completed.
Congratulations. You have arrived.
Into the first level of awareness.
Yes.
There's several more. No, I fundamentally feel like a different person going through that, and I've done a lot of things. My number one goal for 2026 is to be more present in wherever I am, right? So that a lot of times has been not being on my phone, not having my phone with me. Like, if my husband's out of town, obviously I keep it with me, but trying very hard not to be on it, trying to not multitask people. So if you were to tell me about sepia now, I would remember. Also, just this is not really a funny topic, but so there was this one meditation that we did in it where it's you thinking about your own parents, right? But in thinking about my own parents, it got me thinking about me as a parent. And it was like, does your mom enjoy spending time with you? Like, did your mom enjoy spending time with you? Did your mom, give you her full and undivided attention? Did your mom seem irritated? Like, all these different things. And like I said before, I had like the June Cleaver mom. I mean, obviously when I was little, I probably don't remember a lot of things, but my mom was always there. right? I can't really say that I remember her being burnt out or anything, but it all of a sudden for me clicked of what version are my kids getting. And it was a bit sobering. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a good mom. I am. But I also realized all the places where I was multitasking my kids, or I was not holding up my word to my kids. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, yeah. Like, I'd tell my son, we'll go on a date, right? And then it's like something came up, or the weekend got away from us or something. And I just realized how many times where my word was broken to my kids, or I would get a text for work in a time that I really was not working, and it would pull my attention away from my kids when they wanted it, and when they deserve it. And so what's been really, really present for me is leaning in to being the type of mom that 20 years down the road, my kids will be like, my mom really enjoyed me. She
Yeah.
didn't always seem burnt out. She wasn't always irritated. And that has come from working on me, right? That's realizing, like, when I'm snapping at my kids, when I'm multitasking, when I'm, not using the time that I have for work wisely, I'm pushing them down in priority. And I don't that was a crappy feeling to realize. And so,
But
yeah,
it's good.
it's been really pouring into it.
Sometimes, the biggest breakdowns are your biggest breakthroughs. And so having that epiphany, you're showing up differently. I had two epiphanies very similar to that, which was and you know this because you get to bypass my do not disturb. So I get your text messages at night, but my phone at 5 o'clock is on do not disturb. And so my mom, my dad, and Shannon can bypass it, but everybody else, I will get to them the next day. So I can be present with my family because I realized it was always right next to me to be a distraction. And last year it was a priority. And they weren't. And so now I've become disciplined enough to say no. I also had a phone call, and we were just talking about this before we hit play, that there was a mentor of mine who called. I picked up because I was excited. They had called. And I said, wow, you didn't even send a text to say, like, is this a good time? And he goes, yeah, it was your choice to pick up. And I said, so if I call you, you'll pick up? And he goes, I'm not obligated to. And it was one of those, I am not obligated to pick up the phone. I am not obligated when someone texts me to say, hey, do you have a minute to answer a question? I'm not obligated to stop what I'm doing to say yes unless I choose it. And I was like, that is, even though it's simple and it's not unique, it was very profound for me to hear it in that moment because I was allowing those interruptions to take precedent over whatever task, whatever family member I was with. That was more important because my phone dinged. And so therefore I took that moment away from family. So now I'm starting to even change how I respond to people, which is I have availability at X and then they don't call or they don't text back. And 2 days later, can we talk now? It's like, what happened to Tuesday? That was our moment. I'm not available. And so I'm learning it's very hard to change, especially when people are used to a narrative that you're always available. But man, is it liberating.
Yeah, I really love that. I totally had a thought that I was going to go with that. And in listening to you, it is.
Out
I
the
was
window.
actively listening. I was not
love
planning what I was going to say next.
It's actually so funny you said
gone.
that. I was told that when we're having dialogue, the first thought that we have that comes into our brain as you're listening, throw it out into the trash.
It was a good thought.
No. I'm not saying that. But like most times when people interrupt, right, we're having a dialogue, they're like, oh, but I got to interrupt because this is so important. They say actually level 2 says throw it out because that's not the point. Stay present, stay active. There's something better coming. I'm not good at it.
I remember it now. And I got to get it out while it's there.
I just love, I have lots of wrinkles because Shannon makes me laugh.
You're going to make me lose my thought again.
No. Make me go.
So one of the things that I have to continually flip, especially when it has to do with my kids or anything, right? It's not super fun to look in the mirror and see the demons that you have. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, right? Where it was triggers are your teachers. They're not fun things to learn. But it was one of the where, I used to multitask my kids a lot, or I would multitask my husband, or I would multitask Jane, right? I would do that to the people who meant a lot to me. And then it was during this neuroscience camp, a lot of what they have you do is they'll phrase it in ways of like, how did that make you feel when somebody did that to you? Before they even bring up that it's your behavior, right? And that really has changed a lot of things because I'm like, okay, let's say that I'm with Jane and I'm talking to her and she's on her phone texting or she's scrolling. I'm going to be like, dude,
What the heck?
what the heck?
Right.
And I did it to my kids.
Oh.
And it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I would do it to now my husband calls me on it more so. Like he'll be like, I'm going to wait until you're done or whatever. And again, I'm trying not to have my phone on me very much, but it is one of those things where it's like, look at the behavior, like look at how you act, even with how overwhelmed or how irritated I would get over little things. And we're not even talking we're just talking in general of like mom overstimulation. If a friend responded the way that I would snap, I'd be like, I don't want to be friends with you. Like,
Totally.
why are you treating me like that?
Right.
Yet I would do it to my kids.
You're right, though. It's one of those, it is a muscle memory that you have to train when it comes time to being an active listener, to not having the distractions. Shannon and I joke about it because she will be texting me in the morning and I'm looking at it and Seth's sitting across from me wanting to have our coffee date. And I'm texting Shannon. And then I will literally text her, I was like, I am going now because I'm getting the death look. And so
Did you like how I sent Puss in Boots doing this
totally.
I was like, just show him this.
I know.
I'm so cute.
We're trying. This is definitely codependency that she and I have, but we're also recognizing that we love each other and I can just, like, we're going to have to come up with like an emoji that's like, I will come back to you in a minute because I'm now going to give my undivided attention to husband, to children. You don't like that idea.
They get you in person every day, all day.
They do. They do.
I'm
It's
joking.
not
Obviously,
enough.
people don't come at me. I know that she loves her children and her husband.
No, Shannon knows this, that we're
If
still
Seth
in
listened to this, he would know.
He doesn't. We are still in this cohabitat of like, we're all in one big bedroom and we are trying to, to diversify it where Seth and I are in our room and the kids are in theirs a couple days a week. And we have noticed just the actual sleep patterns when we are all together is drastically different for the better.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, our kids today was an 11 and a half hour sleep in day. Total.
My kids both made it past 7 today.
Wonderful.
Now, granted, my daughter was up for 2 hours in the middle of the night. So
Not wonderful. Nope. No, it's just, and so he and we are finding ways to diversify our alone time since it won't always be at night.
I love how PC you just made
I just did. I did it. I did it so well too. I'm pat myself on the back.
Okay, this brought up a really, really good point, and this was another really big awakening that I had. So steer me off of this if you don't want to talk about it. Listening. So we talked about it a little bit of that, like being an active listen to me.
She says listening. I'm like, and?
Land the plane, Shannon. Okay. No, just what we learned of the different ways of listening. So, because that really stuck with me, and I found out through the whole process of that I thought I was listening and I wasn't. There are 3 ways that we learn. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
There are 3 ways that
why couldn't you say it?
I don't know. Like, can you not give it away? I don't know.
Give us step 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And what's the third step?
So, well, I don't know the steps. I just know the 3 ways of listening. So the first way of listening, that the first 2 ways are the ways that most people listen, right? So one is agree with, one is disagree with. And in both of those cases, when you agree with something or you disagree with it, you're listening with the lens of, I have experience with this and I'm right? I would tell you, even based on, like, go on social media. It takes about 0.25 seconds on social media to see that this is exactly how 99% of people are listening now. It's 100%. I agree with or I disagree with.
Agreed.
The problem with I agree with or I disagree with is that you are coming in with 2 assumptions. I have experience with this and I'm right, which means that there's no room for changing your mind. There's no room for new thought. There's no room for holding space for somebody else's opinion when you've already made up your mind that I have experience with this and I'm right.
That's why
go ahead.
That's why it goes back to with social media, with active listening. When people spout out hate in comments, you don't reply because they've already made the decision.
Yeah, you're not
no
going to
matter
change
what you say. And so that's why, and that's also the balance. You leave the good, you leave the bad, and you let those people duke it out. And you stay out of it because you cannot change their minds.
Unless
Step
you
3.
are listening with the third way. And this has been huge for me because I did have that moment where I realized with pretty much everybody, right? Like somebody's telling you about how they're homeschooling. I disagree. right? When somebody tells you about how they're eating, I disagree. Or I agree, right? Somebody is like, oh, I'm doing this holistic detox. I agree with that. Yay, right? All I have experience with, I'm right. And then there's be with. And that's really, really tough because be with is essentially just look at how it makes you feel and you don't have to make a judgment, right? So in be with, it's be with your feelings, notice what you're feeling, ask why. Like, why am I feeling this way, right? And when you can actually, so what I found, and I've even had to tell you a few times when we're talking, because I'll just be very quiet. And I don't think anybody's used to other people being quiet because it's always like we volley, right? It's like, I think this. I don't think this. Well, I think this. And it's this volley back and forth, right? Or if you agree, it's like you're continuing on that string, right? When you're in be with, I've been really quiet listening because I'm just like, so how does that make me feel? Why does it make me feel that way? What's coming up? I don't have to have the immediate answers for exactly what's happening. And it changes so much. But I challenge you as the listener, as you're listening today, even right now, notice, are you listening with, I don't agree with that. Or I agree with, right? What's funny is like I told my mom about this, about like the 3 ways. Do you know what her immediate response was? I don't know if I agree with that. And I was like, you're listening to with I disagree with.
It goes back to what you and I just said, though. What I was talking about when you were saying is that the first thought that you have when someone is talking, throw it in the dumpster, right?
I really like that.
Because you're coming from, I agree or I disagree. Throw it away and then be with the conversation.
Imagine conversations on the social media if people actually listened with be with.
It would be very different. The climate there would be drastically, I think personally, it would improve.
It would actually be a safe place to be, right? I mean, genuinely, half the time I'm terrified to get on social media or post anything of like exactly where I stand, because what you also realize on social media is no matter what you do, I could be like, I'm adopting puppies to save them from being killed. Somebody would come at me.
Right.
With like
the carbon emissions from the dog poop
kill
is
shelter?
terrible.
Like, why are you not doing it over there? Or you only did 5? Or somebody is going to hate on something, right? And that's always because people only listen with I agree with, I disagree with. Somebody lives their life a different way, right? Like there are people who are homesteaders. I freaking love that for you. I don't have to understand it. I don't have to care. It's a different way to live. I can listen, like you sharing your homeschooling study, right? I've shared, if I could do that from the beaches of Nice, France, I would do that. I want to do it at home. At the same time, I can listen to your journey and be like, dude,
yeah,
how
we're not
freaking
comparing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not a comparison game. It's more of she is being with me in this journey and I'm being with Shannon in her journey.
And it opens up your mind. You don't live in an echo chamber. When you listen with agree with or disagree with, you're only confirming the thoughts that you already have. When you listen with be with, it's like, I never saw it that way. Why does that make me feel weird? Why am I upset right now? Like, I'm not saying that nothing's going to upset you. Like, there's plenty on social media that when people say it, being with it is challenging, right? There are things that you're like, I don't want to be with this because I disagree with this.
Back to the episode, the triggers are your teachers. Why does it trigger you?
Exactly.
I understand what Shannon and I are saying is like step 1, step 2, step 3, and go live your life. It's difficult. And there are times when you're like, I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted most days.
But there are beautiful moments where you can track a luteal phase in a calendar. And you're like, wow, I was being with this moment. And instead of me reacting, I just was. Or, Shannon and I were talking the other day, I'm looking at plane tickets and they're very expensive and I'm being very reactionary versus being with, why am I so upset they're expensive? Is it because I have a pre-programming around money versus this, light a match and burn it all down because I'm so upset about it. And so I think the more and more you have a support system that can hear you, see you, support you, and be with you, watch what happens to your life.
And I think people just would be way more open to sharing things. It's an exchange of ideas instead of a battle.
Yeah. It's called vulnerability.
Look it up.
Well, I hope that this podcast has resonated on some random level with our viewers today. We've talked about a lot of things.
I feel like all of you know me on a better level. They're all like, we're not starting a project with you, Shannon.
No, that's my job.
No.
I took that role on with pride. No, but today was just one of those days where we just wanted to have a conversation, welcome you into how Shannon and I talk on the phone. and you got to be a part of that conversation with us.
All right. Well, if this resonated, consider sending it to somebody who might want to hear it, might want to laugh, might want to learn to listen.
What are the tablets called that people should look into for their menstrual cycles?
I just can't remember. Can you tell me?
Sepia.
No, sepia. It's
See?
sepia. So it's the Sepia 30C today. It's this tiny little bitty thing. That's it.
Love it. We'll see you next week.
All right. Love to you all. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us in the messy middle. If this episode made you feel seen, laugh a little, or think, wow, it's not just me, then you are exactly who this space is for.
And if you want to keep these conversations going, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And if you know another woman who's navigating hormones, motherhood, or just the general chaos of being human, send this her way.
And remember, we listen, we don't judge, and you don't have to have it all figured out to belong here. We'll see you next time.